What's up, dudes? Chooch back with another video, and today I found some handlebars and I think an extra wheel. What does that look like? Anyways, I think it's time to introduce y'all to this little dude. This is the Honda Grom little 125cc bike, and this is a super popular bike overseas in Thailand. It's called the MSX 125 over there, and a few years ago, back in like 2014, they came over here and they released it as the Honda Grom in the United States. And they were pretty wildly popular back in like 2015. They still are really popular. They're fun little bikes. I've had this one for a while, and I just really don't ride it too much. And I got it out the other day. I had a guy coming to buy it, and I was like, I got to go take it out for a spin. One last spin. I got to give it a rip around town, go film a video with it as like just a memory of this thing. And so I got all the cameras, went out, and I was like, I'm going to film just a little adventure like I do with the wheels and see what we can do. And I ended up having an absolute blast with it, dude. I took this, and this is probably the best day with this bike I ever had, man. I went out and just rode trails. I rode off-road in the mountains, man. I had all kinds of fun with it. I ended up having so much fun with it, dude. For the price I was going to sell it, I was like, man, I may as well just keep this thing and then, just have adventures like this. And for the price, I'm not. If you get a new one, you're not going to do this with it, And so the fun thing about this bike, it's kind of to the point. I kind of decided in my head. I was like, dude, I was going to sell it for $1,700, and I was like, man, for that price, I'm just going to shred it, have some fun with this thing, and make some cool content on YouTube with it. Maybe bring over some Grom guys, some motorcycle guys. We'll do a little bit of moto vlogging. How about that? So, anyways. This thing is a lot of fun, though, guys. Whenever I did ride it, I got it basically to get back and forth to school and whatnot, and just a fun way to get back and forth to school before I had the electric unicycles. And I got the electric unicycles shortly after getting this thing, and then I haven't really rode it much. And it's just due to the convenience of the electric unicycles, guys. Y'all know that. The convenience, just grab and go with the electric unicycles, no problem. But this thing, living in downtown Denver, you know how it goes with stuff getting stolen nowadays, man. We got this homeless problem everywhere. People, addicted to drugs, they'll steal the dadgum windows off your car. So I had 15 locks on this thing, and it took me 35 minutes to get it unlocked as the dadgum owner of it, So ended up being, I just sat it to the side, rode the unicycles a lot and whatnot. And so I guess it's one of those things I just don't get out and ride much. But when I get out and ride it, man, I have an absolute blast on it, And whenever I had a garage, whenever I lived in a house, not in an apartment back in South Carolina, and I could just, walk out to the garage, hop on it, twist the key, and go, that was it. Then this was a lot more convenient, and I really got more use out of it. But out here, I'd never really explored any of these trails. I was like, man, I got to go up to Switzerland Trail real quick and take the Grom up there to it and go rip down it real quick. So this is a 4x4 trail, guys. This is literally for Jeeps. People bring their dirt bikes. They bring four-wheelers out here, everything like that. And you see, I just got complete slicks on this thing. And I was just giving it a rip to see how it went. And honestly, this thing would go completely fine. I was just ripping through gas on this thing, guys. Usually you don't use up too much gas, but I was keeping it at 9,000 RPMs the whole way up the mountains, man. On this 125, I keep it pinned on the mountain roads. And I honestly have fun on it, man. A lot of people debate and they say, hey, you can't really have fun on a 125. It's not fast enough. Dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. You must not be riding your 125 the right way. I think some people that get these things, get them, and then they're like, hey, call up their buddy with a Kawasaki Ninja or, like a CBR 1000 or something. And, hey, you want to go ride on the highway or something? Of course you're not going to go have fun riding with your buddy that has a bike that can go 120 miles an hour, Absolutely not. But on this thing, man, I have a total blast on it. You just got to ride it in the right way. Same with the unicycle. That's why I love trail riding with the unicycles. The more technical you can make it for the less powered, smaller machines that they offer in the world, I think that's the fun of it. This thing's lightweight, it's nimble, and it's almost like you feel like it's almost like a joke of a bike, because so many people stipulate the bike as being such a joke of a bike. You just have this whole mindset when you're riding a Honda Grom of just clowning around, just clowning around. It's serious, you're on a motorcycle or whatnot, but it's a 125, and you can literally pick it up, and literally you can just grab the thing and essentially pick it up like a small dirt bike, And that's the problem with them getting stolen as much as they do. That's why I had so many dead gun locks on the thing in downtown Denver. It's because people just, we were in the Denver Gromlin crew. I was part of the Denver Gromlin crew when I lived down there. And those people were just stupid with their bikes. They just leave them parked outside. It's like, nah, dude. Like, I've seen it firsthand. These things will literally just get picked up by someone. If someone's strong, it takes one person. They'll pick it up, throw it in a van or truck, and scoot, boot, boogie, and they're gone, man. And that's just, you got to be careful with these things. But they're a lot of fun, man. Like, I threw on the Lead braces, man, and the good old reflective vest, and I was like, man, I'll go have me one last hurrah with this bad boy before I have to send it on. And the whole plan, guys, was honestly to get a Honda Monkey. So the reason I was going to end up selling it is I've built it out. You know, that's like with anything. You know, it's like with a truck or Jeep that you put time into and you build it out. You know, you eventually you get bored of it. You know, you want to start a new build. I mean, that's what I did with this. I had fun with this. Built it out like I want. It looks like I want to, like I wanted it and whatnot. And now I kind of had my eye on a Honda Monkey. That's kind of what I want to get next, guys. So if I can get my hands on what the new revamped Honda Monkeys, they made, you remember these, the old school little monkey bikes. They have the new 2020 version of it, and it has the same engine as this one in it, and it probably is worse suspension. It probably rides worse than this thing, man. But that's what I'm going to get next, and then put the big bars on it and everything. That's going to be the project for next summer, I think. Because in the wintertime, you really don't use these things that much. You know, the roads get iced up, and I mean, I'm still going to be ripping the unicycle pretty much all winter out here. So the most common question about these bikes from anybody that's really researching anything on the internet about getting one as their first bike, because this really is, it has opened up a window to a lot of people to get into the hobby of riding motorcycles. And so a lot of people see these as a small bike, and the affordability of it as a new bike is what really intrigues people. You know, you can get a brand new one of these things for like $3,400 out of the showroom floor, you know, after you pay tax, tag, title, all that stuff. Actually, it comes out probably like $38 after you're done with all that stuff. You can get a used one. See, that's why the market for the used ones is just incredible on these things. You can get a used one for like $1,500 to $1,700. It's in pretty good condition. You know, there's some of them that have been stunted. Some of them you got to look out for, and you can usually tell the signs of it. But it's a really cheap entry-level bike. It's a Honda. You know, Honda is a reputable bike. You know, you can leave this thing in 6 winters and not touch it, and then come back and crank the thing up and send it on your way. And that's just the way Hondas work. But I really don't exactly know from the perspective of somebody that did get one of these as a first bike, you know, because this wasn't my first bike. My first bike that I ever had any experience on was like a road bike. Was a Harley, like riding a Harley around. It was big Harleys, like Harley Buell, a Harley Fat Boy, stuff like that. You know, they were completely different than the nature of this, you know. And whenever you're riding one of those bikes, whenever you're learning, it's a whole matter of complete seriousness to it, you know. And I feel like with these bikes, kind of the thing you might fall into is a new rider, somebody that gets this as your first bike ever, you know. If you've never rode a moped, if you've never rode a street bike that was different than this, you might fall into this idea of not taking it as serious as you need to, you know. And that's one thing. You might see me having fun on this, might see me goofing around, but at the core of it, you know, you're riding a motorcycle. You got to take it serious. You got to take safety serious on these things. I mean, way even more than the electric unicycles, I'll tell you that. And that's what it boils down to. And I think that's really the only part of getting this thing as your first bike that might be a problem, you know. I think you'll learn the mechanics of it very well, and the mechanics you do learn on this bike, you can pretty much take to any place. You can take it to a Harley or whatever. It may feel a little bit weird because you're used to such a small and lightweight bike. It'll take a lot longer to adapt if you've never experienced that or have no idea how that feels. But I definitely think in the right setting, this is a good bike. Now, for somebody that lives in a big city, like I was saying, I really don't. I didn't get the use out of this bike like I would like to. You know, you got to lock it up everywhere. There's traffic everywhere. There's cars. To get anywhere out of the city, you usually got to take a highway, and then taking this thing on the highway is death-defying. I mean, you do not want to take this bike on the highway. It's just like with the unicycles. I always talk about that. It's safer to have a unicycle with more speed, so you can get out of a bad situation. You know, if you make a mistake and you accidentally make a turn and shit, there's a car coming right behind you, you can speed up and get out of the way quick. When you get on the highway on a Honda Grom, yeah, it is, street legal. It is registered. You can take it on the highway. But when you take a 125cc bike on the highway, you're in such a big risk factor, I'd say, just because you don't have the speed to get out of the way of anything. You know, if there's an 18-wheeler coming over, he doesn't see you. There's somebody texting next to you, they don't see you. You got to speed up to get in front of them. You see a bad situation coming up, and you really got to get out of the way. There's just no speed to do it. And then also on top of that, you're really, really low to the ground on this thing, guys. You're really low, and a lot of times whenever I'm actually riding this bike in a traffic situation, wherever I'm riding through town or something like that, and there's red lights where there's potentially people turning left, I stand up, and I stand up tall, and that's just because the sight on this thing is just so poor. I got to stand up and just be seen. I've had friends lose their lives on motorcycles before, and so I'm really extremely careful. And my whole thing with this is I take it west. I usually try not to go east towards the city anymore, towards where there's population of people. I try to stay up here in the mountains. So if there's a mistake or something that happens, it's going to be my fault. The worst thing that can happen on a motorcycle is somebody else pulling out in front of you on the thing, and then it's just like, oh man, you smash yourself up, so you're smashed up. So that's why I really like riding up here in the mountains. That's the same with the unicycle. As much as I can ride away from other people and in my own terrain and my own little vibe, that's what I like, and that's the beauty of the Rocky Mountains up here, man. I'm so glad I got away from the hustle and bustle of the East Coast to embrace this.